What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Unknown Coatings channel. Got a pretty cool project here. These are actually, I guess, like retired fire hydrants that we ended up jazzing up both of them for a charity auction. I only did one of them. Actually, I guess technically primed both of them. And then I did the graphics on one. We were given kind of leeway to do whatever we wanted, so that was nice. You can see there's tons of paint just layered on these. They, of course, get sandblasted. The end result, of course, you can see here. Like I said, I end up priming both of these, and then I do the graphics on one. We ended up going with the Sonics graphics and Seattle Kraken graphics on the other. I was initially going to go with a Rainier beer can. Everything needed to be something related to the Northwest. Like I said, we were given kind of free range, but they had some suggestions for us, of course. I'll show you that Rainier beer can here, what it was going to look like. Went back and forth and decided that I wanted to bring back the old Sonics. If you guys don't know, or if you follow basketball at all, you might have heard Seattle is likely getting their expansion, getting their NBA team back, which we assume will be the Seattle Supersonics once again. So I want to do a little throwback to that. I did the Sonics one. Another guy in the shop here did the Seattle Kraken one, which I will show you at the end. I missed the coating of these in white and kind of the graphic setup, but I'm going to try to walk you through this as best as I absolutely can. Started laying the masking down. That's the purple vinyl that you see. This is just like an Oracal 651 vinyl that was sitting around. Then we start spraying yellow over it. Now, I'll be honest, I don't remember the colors that we used for this. I want to say that this one was called like JPM yellow, and the white was Cardinals WH11. I know the green is RAL 6021, but none of that really matters. You could obviously do this with any color, and I'm really just showing you this project because I liked it so much. Once the yellow was on and put in the oven to flow out, as you can see, we started pulling the graphics, pull it out while it's still warm, start pulling the graphics. There's multiple layers to this. I actually don't remember how many, but we're going to go through them all here, obviously. There was a ton of different layers. Multiple times we actually had to shoot the same color. I tried to set this up as best I could to minimize the amount of layers, because obviously the more powder you stack, the more difficult the job becomes. And one thing I always want to recommend is when you're pulling vinyl, there is like a sweet spot, a nice window of time where you can pull it without the vinyl being, or not the vinyl, the powder being too stringy. Um, it's complicated, especially on big, heavy cast parts like these, because these hold heat for a really long time. They also take a long time to get hot, but you don't want to overdo it because then you overcook the vinyl, and that's its own problem. Right here, you can actually see the first struggle that I had. As you can see, there's multiple layers being masked at once, and I had to get this little tiny thin line on, but I'm putting it onto a sort of hot part. It's not hot, obviously, because I'm touching it, but it's warm, and it kept stretching the vinyl every time. I ended up pulling the transfer tape off, so I ended up having to, lay it all back down by hand, kind of, I guess, like a pinstriper. I am not a pinstriper, as you can probably tell. This is sped up, and I promise you it took me forever to lay this line back down, and I still wasn't stoked on how it turned out. In the end, everything ended up looking fine, but trying to get that to line up was a nightmare. Putting on another layer of vinyl right here. This was just because it had to cover perfectly areas that we had already powder coated and masked and, pulled the vinyl off. I'm kind of just like rambling through this because it was really complicated, and I'm hoping that you guys can just kind of tell what's going on, and I'll explain it in, as best detail as I can. This is the RAL 6021. This is the, I guess, technically fourth thing of powder that we're putting on this if you include the primer.
Hi everyone, I hope you liked the video, but I still need you to do me a little favor. Sean said that if I can get 150 likes or even just 50 comments that he's going to teach me how to powder coat. So drop a quick comment, let us know what you think, hit the like button, and help me learn how to powder coat, please and thank you.
Laramie is definitely stoked about learning how to powder coat, so hopefully you guys can get the 150 likes or 50 comments, get to that point, and I will be stoked to teach you how to powder coat on the channel. We actually tried this with the last video, which I ended up deleting the video on accident. I reposted it, but it's not doing well view wise now, just because it's basically a repost of an existing video, and I know YouTube hates that. So hopefully with this video we can hit that goal and she'll be learning how to powder coat right here on the channel. So right here we're going to start the process of wiping off all the excess powder. Once you see the finished results of this, or I guess you might have seen it in the thumbnail, it's obviously pretty complex in the number of layers or the number of colors and the way that it has to be layered to make this all work. After I finished this project, I kind of looked back at it and I realized there was probably a couple things that I could have done that would have been easier, I guess, or made the process a little bit easier for me. But I like a challenge, and I was in a little bit of a competition with the other person that was doing the other fire hydrant. So uh, because I'm competitive, that's kind of all that was sticking in my head. I wasn't really looking for the easy way of doing anything, or I would have picked a much more simple process. So once all the wiping is done and got this thing ready, slapped it back in the oven again, got it to flow out, pull it out, and of course, while it is still warm, we're going to start pulling off this vinyl once again. I know it's actually hard unless you do jobs like this to appreciate how involved this process actually is. I wish I would have documented the layering a little bit better, but as you can see, I mean, I pulled off the tiny little stripe on the outside to expose the yellow, then pulled off the vinyl on the S to expose the white. Now keep in mind that all had to be masked multiple times. Now I'm going through picking out these little pieces which kind of make this basketball type image within the S. It's one of the old Sonics logos. And then once I do that, pull the tape on the outside of these. You would have seen me wipe these earlier. It's a little complicated how I ended up doing this. So I wiped them and then I changed my mind about how I wanted to do it and then ended up taping them so I could pull that off and have a little bit cleaner line. And then pulled off the main front image. And of course, if you know the old Sonics jerseys, this is what they used to look like. So as you can see, I mean, this is 3 layers of color right there that I had to mask for each one. And getting that all lined up each time was a little bit of a nightmare, but it turned out absolutely spectacular. And of course, I'm blanking now on what the flake is that I'm putting over this. It's obviously just a clear with a flake in it. I want to say that the flake had gold in it. It might have been Adam's Gold. I honestly don't remember. Or like Silver Sparkle or one of those. Here you can actually see the top of the fire hydrant that I did. I don't know how I missed getting video of this, but the top of that where you can see that it's brown actually has black stripes on it, and it looks like a basketball. Turned out pretty cool. It's like a textured finish on the basketball, just like a basketball would be. You can see it a little bit here. But this thing turned out absolutely spectacular. I was in love with it when it was done. I was a little concerned. Once again, I was in kind of a little competition with the other person doing the other one, which will be here at the end of this video. Luckily, these both went to auction, and this one sold for the highest amount, meaning if it was a real competition, I won. But I'm only saying that because I'm competitive. It's another quick little close-up of that kind of basketball type image that we did. And then we got some shots of this at night, or in the dark, I should say. We put some LEDs on it that you could change the color of. We set them up in green, obviously, to kind of go with the theme. And this is just obviously like a decor piece that somebody bought and was just going to be putting in their house. I actually think this one was going in a bar, if I remember correctly, based on what the person who won the auction said. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you like powder coating or powder coating content, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and look forward to the next video. And after this video, if you're still craving powder coating content, make sure you jump on Facebook and check out the UKC Army Facebook group. Tons of powder coaters in there offering tips, tricks, advice. Lots of people just asking questions. Lots of great information in that community. Really enjoy having it, and it's been growing every day. And here's the Kraken hydrant. A lot of this is powder, but a lot of this is also paint, as the person who did this one is also a pinstriper. So I appreciate you guys. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.